Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Joy News today, live from our studio here at Coco Mlemle in Accra. We're live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. This is also live on the Joy Prime channel. Headlines coming up this are sachet and bottled water producers kick against suggestions they are only interested in profiteering after announcing an upward adjustment of prices for sachet and bottled water, citing high cost of production as major drivers of the latest increment. The Ghana Health Service is this afternoon placing the public on a health alert of an increase in cases of rabies being recorded in the Ashanti region. So far, deaths have been recorded from 4 cases detected in 3 districts in the region. And a law lecturer warns notorious Chinese Galamsey Queen may walk free from ongoing trial because the charges leveled against her, that's Aisha One, are not prohibitive enough. Details plus business, showbiz and sports all coming up in this bulletin. Remember, we are here home of fearless, independent and credible journalism. Stay with us for details. Now, the National Association of Sachet and Packaged Water Producers is kicking against suggestions that the latest increase in the price of sachet and bottled water is unjustified. Now, the association on Wednesday announced that 500 milliliter bottle of water will now be retailed at 2 cedis, while the medium size will go for 3 Ghana cedis. Meanwhile, sachet water will now be sold at 50 pesos effective Monday, September 19, 2022. Listen to the National Director of Corporate Affairs of the association, Kwame Ejapontra, who says the increase is necessary to keep their businesses running.
The price starting from Monday 19th, because all the inputs that we use in the production of our water have gone up. We are talking of one, fuel. Let's use diesel, for example, has gone up. At the time that we increased it the last time in March, diesel was 8 cedis 50 pesos thereabout. Currently, as we speak, it's now hovering around 14 cedis 50 pesos. Now, PURC has also come up quite recently to say that water and electricity prices are going to go up 1st September. It has already kicked in. You talk of the dollar rate. The dollar rate has also gone up. Quite recently, government came up with a 20% COLA adjustment for government workers. Our workers are also saying that they go to the same market, so we should also increase their salaries for them. And rightly so. These 5 major components, plus some other small ones, but these are the 5 major components which have pushed us so hard and so high that we have no option than to increase our price.
Now take a listen to reactions from a section of the public on the increment. Meanwhile, let's move on to other stories where the Ghana Health Service has issued a health alert on increasing cases of rabies being recorded in the Ashanti region. A statement signed by the Ashanti Regional Health Director, Dr. Emmanuel Tinkran, said deaths have been recorded from 4 cases detected in 3 districts in the Ashanti region. They include Asante Akim South, Bosomtwe, and Kwabre East. We'll hear from an official with the Ghana Health Veterinary Service shortly, but at first, here's the alert released by the Ashanti Region Health Director. Now, the statement says the Regional Health Directorate brings to the notice of all health facilities a rise in confirmed outbreak of rabies cases and death in 3 districts in the Ashanti region. As of Monday, 12th September 2022, the region had recorded a total of 4 confirmed cases and 1 probable case. The cases were reported from the Asante Akim South, Bosomtwe, and Kwabre East. The case fatality rate was 100%. Public health actions to be undertaken are enhanced community and public sensitization on rabies, improved case search for rabies in the facilities, Follow up and treat all cases of dog bite and liaise with veterinary officers in your district for dog vaccination activities. The case definition of human rabies, that suspected case, is a person with one or more of the following: headache, neck pain, nausea, fever, fear of water, anxiety, agitation, abnormal tingling sensations or pain at the wound site when contact with a rabid animal is suspected. What is a confirmed case? A suspected case that is laboratory confirmed. And this statement is signed by Dr. Emmanuel Tinkran, who is the Regional Director of Health Service for the Ashanti region. Now, the Ashanti region itself has for some years been battling rabies. This prompted a hotline documentary dubbed Deadly Pet, produced by Seth Kwame Boateng, to intensify education and awareness about the health threat. Here's an excerpt from that hotline documentary. Dr. Benjamin Kisi Sasu is a risk communication and mobilization officer with the Ghana Veterinary Services, and he tells Joy News they are on the field to ascertain more details about the development. Now, he's cautioning pet owners to vaccinate them to help prevent the spread.
No, it's only bite. It's a scratch, which most cases, people, when they get a scratch from a dog, may not take critical look at it. So as we move with our daily lives, we should make sure that when we go to people's house, we need to be careful unless we know our dog that these dogs are vaccinated. When a dog is well cared for, give them a necessary shelter, vaccinated, no problem at all.
Okay.
But we still like to promote that whenever you finish handling dogs, you still need to wash your hands. You don't know, you may have a braided skin. You may have a pad, a sore, or some few things that you may not know. And, you know, as Imam said, you may make a mistake of taking your fingers closer to your eyes or through your nose. And these are ways that you could get.
Okay.
The rabies also spread to those with the parts. So if it is lower your waist, it takes a long time before the effect shows. If it is upper, your hand going is closer to your brain, because those are the nervous system, and those are things. Then you can also deal with the fluid. So if you get the fluid of any rabid dog, whether in the saliva or the blood or the urine, all those things are ways of we getting it. But when we talk about rabies, we always want to let people know that doesn't mean we should hate dogs, because we are humans. We understand. We just need to play our role to be a responsible owner, and they will be free. So we don't put fear. And we need to obey people's, when you get to people's house and they say they have dogs, you need to make sure they get their dogs well protected before you enter, so you are safe. Okay. So we'll continue to tell the public that please check your vaccination card of your pet and take them. This amount of rabies. Some places will be lucky to have a free rabies vaccination. Some will have this subsidized. Some will have to pay for it. But it's cheaper compared to the human. Because right now, if somebody gets a dog bite and we put a dog under quarantine, and the veterinary right to know that there is a serious case, so the human need to give some treatment or medication or therapy.
Let's just stay in the health sector, where Ghana Health Service says medication practices and errors remain a challenge to patient safety, a situation they said has worsened during the period of COVID-19 pandemic. The Deputy Director of the service, Dr. Anthony Adofo-Ofosu, speaking on behalf of the Director General, Dr. Patrick Kumabwaje, at the 4th National Patient Safety and Healthcare Quality Conference in Sunyani, said urgent actions are therefore needed to help reduce the medication-related harms to safeguard the safety of patients. Precious Semovo has more.
The 4th National Patient Safety and Healthcare Quality Conference, ongoing in Sunyani, is under the theme Advancing Patient Safety and Healthcare Quality During Public Health Emergencies. The 3-day conference is to help health stakeholders create national awareness of patient safety and healthcare quality in the era of a public health emergency, propose a mechanism for the provision of service delivery, and identify policy and research gaps in patient safety and healthcare quality in Ghana, among others. In his address, the Deputy Director of the Ghana Health Services, Dr. Anthony Adofo-Ofosu, on behalf of the Director General, Dr. Patrick Kumabwaje, said urgent actions are needed to arrest the growing medication errors affecting patient safety.
Medication errors occur when weak medication systems and human factors such as fatigue, poor environmental conditions, or staff shortages affect prescribing, transcribing, dispensing, administration, and monitoring practices which can then result in severe patient harm. The ongoing COVID-19 pandemic has significantly exacerbated the risk of medication error and associated medication-related harm, especially from self-medication. This calls for urgent action for reducing medication-related harm through strengthening systems and practices of medication use and strong partnerships with patients, their families, and communities.
Ghana Health Service Council Chairman Dr. Sifa Bediako, on his part, said the council would continue to reinforce medical governance and collaborate with other stakeholders to ensure the delivery of quality healthcare services.
The council is making frantic efforts to reinforce clinical governance at all levels of care. This, we believe, will go a long way towards creating an environment where safety practices regarding the use of safe medications will flourish. Reducing preventable harm requires a concerted, persistent, coordinated effort by all stakeholders. The Council pledges its support and that the entire service to collaborate with all stakeholders to deliver quality health care to all citizens.
Deputy Minister of Health, Mahama Saini, assured that the government would continue to promote pro-poor policies and interventions to benefit all citizens and urged all stakeholders to do more to improve healthcare safety.
In Ghana, despite many efforts, there is still the need to continuously deploy effective pharmaceutical policy, tools, standards, and protocols to equip managers and service providers at all levels of care to achieve high-quality care.
Precious Semevo, Joy News, Sunyani.
Now let's return to the story on the increment in sachet and packaged water prices, which will be effective 19 September 2022. Joining us for a reaction on this is Stephen Adams of the Consumer Advocacy Center. Thanks so much for joining us. Now, what do you make of the increment in sachet and packaged water?
Hello, good afternoon to you, to our viewers and listeners. I think this increment in sachet water is going to worsen the plight of the ordinary Ghanaian. Because already things are increasing, the prices of goods and services are already going up. To add that of water will worsen the plight of the consumer.
So once it's going to worsen the plight of the consumer, and they've also said that we're going to do it, how should we approach this to ensure that the plight that will be worsened on the part of the consumer does not come?
Well, the water producers are making a case for why they want to increase the prices. They are telling us their cost of production has gone up. And we will all bear witness that only this month, the water tariff per the PURC, water tariff has gone up by 27.5%. Electricity has gone up by 21.5%. And fuel, petroleum product, the cost of petroleum product keeps increasing. So we cannot blame so much the water producers. So in our view, we think the government to find a way of halting the depreciation of the cedi and checking that the price of petroleum products come down so that the prices don't keep increasing like that. Now, you cannot blame the water producers for the rising inflation. It cannot be their fault.
Now, we all know that it will be difficult for government to do something about the rising inflation. Government is trying, but it's not working. In the meantime, consumers are going to feel the brunt of the increment. Is there anything at all that can happen in the interim to ensure that we alleviate that particular suffering that the masses will be suffering?
In the interim, it is up to government now to call the water producers and have a discussion with them. Whatever it is that is forcing them to increase the price, now the depreciation of the cedi is the fault of the government. The rising inflation, fault of government. Now, the petroleum price build up. I think there's this COVID levy and some levy on the petroleum products that can be used to cushion the consumer. I think the government should take some of the tariffs off the petroleum product, maybe it will go a long way to affect the production cost of the water producers. That will bring it down.
We have today, tomorrow, and the weekend until this new increment kicks in. What do you expect should happen if whatever you're telling us are supposed to be done should be done?
We expect government to call the water producers immediately to have a discussion. Because they are only passing on their cost of production to the consumer, which is way too much for us. So it is up to government to call the water producers to a meeting and discuss it. We cannot bear it any longer. And you see, one other problem affecting us is our money. That redenomination we did some time back, when there are increments in prices of goods and services, they don't come in even 1 pesewa, 5 pesewa, or 10 pesewa. Now they go in 20 pesewas, 30 pesewas, because now 5 pesewas doesn't buy anything, 10 pesewas doesn't buy anything. So that it all now boils down to government. We're looking up to government to call the water producers to a meeting, a dialogue, and then have a quick solution of this one.
Let's see how it goes. Thank you so much for joining us. Stephen Adams is with the Center for Consumer Advocacy Center there. But let's now listen to a section of the public who are reacting to the proposed increment in sachet and packaged water.
As the salary also that I'm taking, it's not any huge money that at the end of the day, it can afford me to buy such a, what's the name, about 5 sachet packets in my house. So the government should do something really about it. It is actually going to affect me. Me, a day, I can even drink sachet water about 10. So if I can drink sachet water about 10, imagine the number of money that I'm going to spend, only me alone, on sachet water. The government need to do something about it. This was not what they said before we voted for them. They need to do something seriously about it.
They sell bottled water before 1 CD, 50 pesos. But now, 2 CD, 50 pesos. Now, it's a make it change 3 CD or 4 CD. No, people no free buy like that. Because people don't talk, say, if you want buy pure water, 40 pesos or 50 pesos, you go fetch water for house, the pass. So that one, they disturb people. Small people, you go drink water. So that one making I look those things for everybody.
Two muye, esan say, yes, any boy day. Say, and now pay your man also say from Monday going 50 pesos. Ya panacho 50 pesos their door so do. Say, yes, your friend say, bottle water no. Get to 1 year 3 CDs. Kasi any 6 CDs. Yes, Renala. Yentimin tongue. Say, in Suani, a tongue amonto. 40 pesos ne cry, they call almost boying. Almost any boy at ding. Enti yes Renala, amonte so my. Yes, answer pure water na a tono. And 1 year the big cry yedi. Say, almost any boy at into a monto. You buy a bad breast and sunny at home, Suno. Yes, Ramo. Amonte pure water, no smana. 50 pesos there. Only Papa couldn't mean to 50 pesos. Who told me you know 1 CD? And
then I asked them no. Ask them no well bisano. Says the crowd, I had to say, you bet first to you bet pipe. I go a vortex Roberts money at the Abba station nearby the Abenusu. Yanumun science no ma pure taphon, somebody I show my or mom and a Omomuko school. Omuntimi Shomo, and Tini Nina affect you. And see some Ghana paying for ye bread. Then Quassia Mudia Sabibinia, Muma Young. Says
Now, cancer continues to threaten the lives of children, leaving many families with questions regarding when, how, and where to secure the best treatment. The good news is that some children are surviving the deadly health condition in Ghana. There are, however, many others who die from the ailment as a result of ignorance, late detection, and treatment. Well, so how can we change the situation? Dr. Yvonne Ado is with the oncology unit of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, and she gives us some responses to that.
Yearly, we get an estimated number of about 300,000 kids worldwide getting childhood cancers. And 80% of this number is actually found in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, where we don't have a lot of things. Okay, so in Ghana, we estimated to have about 1,200 cases per year, but we get very few cases because of the awareness of these cancers. People do not know the science,
We get 1,002 of childhood
We are
cancers.
expected to get,
Okay.
depending on the numbers that are generated worldwide. But we don't get that. Those the numbers that come to the hospital are less than that, about 500 or so. Yes, and because that's why we are doing this education, and because people miss the signs, both clinicians and families. And so as we continue with this education, people will be more alert, okay, because it can happen to anybody, okay. It's not like it's special cases for special groups. It doesn't know the poor, it doesn't know the rich.
So what should I see to draw my attention to the fact that maybe that's what is happening?
Okay, so there are different types of cancers. And when you say cancer, it's an abnormal growth of cells anywhere in the body. It comes from your head to toe, including the blood. So it can be your eye, your skin, your kidney, your liver, wherever. Okay, there are cells, abnormal growth. So every part of the body and the different type of presentation they present. So there's an acronym that we have, Siloan sign, where the S talks about symptoms that have persisted, like you don't know whether the child is having fever, headache, fever, or going to the hospital. It's like it's not going down. You should be a little on an alert. The I is for eyes, eye signs. You know, sometimes you can take a picture of your child and there's this white spot in the eye. Check it out. Most of the time, it could be a cancer of the eye. It could be something else apart from a cancer. But please check it out. Do not ignore it. Okay. You see your child's eyes are fine, then all of a sudden they are beginning to deviate. You know, or you see the eye getting swollen. You know, see an ophthalmologist. Somebody who can do it. Then the L is lumps everywhere. You see a lump on your body, please check it out. Okay. And then unexplained fever. You know, the child is tired. You know, pale all of a sudden. Please check it out. Yeah. The A. Aches and pains in your body. It's like we say rheumatism. Sometimes somebody will say rheumatism, okay? But aches and pains, check that one out. Sometimes the cancer is in the bone, okay? That can cause that. And then the N is like the child is having headaches, seizures, the gait has changed. The child is not walking straight enough. It's just, you know, tottering left and right. Please check it out. So these are some of the signs that we are just putting out there.
Also, a mother of a 4-year-old cancer survivor, Mrs. Marian Opokun, was in studio sharing her story with us. She advised parents to seek early treatment should they notice anything like that.
A child is growing very healthily, and all of a sudden you begin to see that he's unwell. Anytime he eats, he says, "Mommy, my tummy is hurting," to a point that he now begins to show signs of withdrawal, you know, not wanting to eat, loss of appetite, always wanting to be by himself. So initially, I took him to the hospital. The first time I took him, they said he was okay. Then one night I was praying, there were no lights, but I could tell from the bed that he kept turning. So I thought that he wanted to pass urine. So I took him to the washroom. In the process of urinating, the Lord opened my eyes because the place was dark. The Lord opened my eyes and I saw that he was urinating blood. So I did not flush the urine afterwards. So I waited till morning. Then lo and behold, when I went in the morning, it was blood. So from that morning, I kept monitoring him to see if I would see blood. He didn't pass any urine that contained blood. But after 2 days, I realized he was so uncomfortable. So I decided to take him to the hospital to tell the doctors that this is what I've seen and something might be wrong with him. And judging from a 2.5-year-old boy who was, you know, I dressed him up in his jeans and his trainers and his nice shirt. He was a cute boy, I should say. So when we entered the consulting room, the doctor just heard me, looked at him, you know, walking about in the consulting and said, oh, there's nothing wrong with him.
Now, legal practitioner Justice Abdullahi has stated that the 2 charges leveled against Aisha Juan are not prohibitive enough. The Galamsey Kingpin had been charged with mining without license and purchase and sale of minerals without authority. But speaking on the AM show, the law lecturer at the University of Professional Studies said Aisha Juan could just pay a fine and walk free.
Amazes me, which I still find it difficult to understand, is why she's been charged with 2 offenses when there are about 10 different offenses for which she should be charged with. As you rightly pointed out, indeed, I mentioned this with Daryl yesterday, that the charges that she's been inflicted with are not charges that are prohibitive enough. Indeed, these are charges that she can literally dip her hands in her pocket and dole out maximum 50,000 Ghana cedis and walk. It is the reason why her lawyers insist that this is much ado about nothing. We are just simply wasting our time going in circles. It is not a scot-free. She could be convicted if found guilty. Naturally, she could be convicted. However, because of the charges that she's been, the charges that have been leveled against her, she's likely just to pay a fine as a first-time offender, unless, and this is because I don't know whether it's a deliberate decision, contrary to what the public opinion and utterances of even the government is, including the president. Because there's a lady who is illegally residing in this jurisdiction. She came in illegally. She's undertaking mining activities illegally. She's working illegally. She attempted registering illegally. All these, the chain of events are all, there's an offense in almost every single thing she's done.
But did she come into the country illegally? Your compatriot, your friend lawyer, if you like, has also said that, no, she did not come in illegally. In fact, on the back of what information he has, she came legally into the country. You disagree with Nkrabea Ifadate then?
Obviously, because the information from official sources are that she obtained a visa to Togo and entered Ghana through the borders of, between Ghana and Togo, and obviously did not apply for any permit. As a matter of fact, we are told by the president that she changed her identity. Now that is clear fraud. Clearly, there's a fraud there, and so her entry, even if she had permit to enter, because it was on the basis of fraud, she couldn't have entered lawfully.
Now, Chairman of the Church of Pentecost, Apostle Eric Nyameche, has mounted a strong defense for the church in response of whether the church has failed in matters of corruption and immorality. He said, but for the church in general, things would have been worse for Ghana. Speaking at the Church of Pentecost All Ministers Conference 2022, Apostle Eric Nyameche also called on churches to come together and intercede on behalf of the nation.
Yeah, you see, righteousness exalts a nation. Sin is a reproach to every land. So when we focus our churches on righteousness and on the purpose that Christ birthed the church, and righteousness is seen in the land, the nation will be exalted to be transformed. It has to do, transformation has to do, all this corruption and things are caused by human beings. Now, the church is about 70% Christians. And so if we go out there with righteousness, brother, we will transform this nation. I can't say we are failing, but for Christianity, things would have been worse. So we are not failing, but we want to bring real transformation. That is why this conference is organized, so that through this conference, we are hoping that we all begin to do things right, refocus the church on righteousness, refocus the church on the transformation of nation, because the relevance of the church is how much it transforms nation. We just don't exist to build maybe big houses and all that, or to carry big titles. These things are just titles. But what is important is that God wants to see from us righteousness on the land, living by the principles and the kingdom of God on the land. By God's grace, God has given us numbers, and then we have favor with the churches in Ghana. And so we thought we can leverage on that and then bring all others on board. And then sometimes I have calls from other pastors wanting to be part of our conferences. So I felt that this nation cannot be built by just one denomination. And so if we all come together and forge our strengths, we'll be able to do something better.
Apostle Eric Yawiche is the chairman of the Church of Pentecost. We'll take a break now to bring you business afterwards. Stay with us.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. The Minister of Food and Agriculture, Dr. Osifri Akoto, has disclosed that his outfit is going for a $36 million loan from the African Development Bank. He says the loan is to fund the Savannah Agricultural Productivity Improvement Project, as well as help transition smallholder farmers into commercial ventures. Speaking at the launch of the Ghanaian Farmer Tourism Club, Dr. Akoto indicated that to revolutionize the agri sector means more investment. Here's more in this report.
The Savannah Agricultural Productivity Improvement Project, designed with a total cost of $56.3 million, was launched in May 2018. The project was to reach out to 50,000 direct beneficiaries and 250,000 farmers nationwide through the Input Subsidy Program of the Planting for Food and Jobs Initiative. The project is expected to end this year. Dr. Akoto announced that a loan facility is being processed to support the project.
Commercial farming is booming in the Savannah belt. We have a project to accelerate that process. I've gone to the African Development Bank to get a loan of $36 million for a project called SAPIP, where we are turning smallholder farmers into commercial farms. Farmers who used to do 20 acres of maize, 10 acres of this, 100 acres of rice, they are doing this and that. And people are queuing to come and join the club. So what you are doing here, ecotourism, is to polish up the image of agriculture.
Count on Crops Hub, an agri advocacy firm, launched the Ghanaian Farmer Tourism Club. The club seeks to provide an opportunity for Ghanaian farmers to travel to other countries to learn new agronomic practices. Here is Chief Executive of Count on Crops Hub, Enyona Manye.
Agrotourism is an untapped market that farmers have not actually realized or discovered. So as a company that is into agriculture innovations, it will be wise to take some number of farmers from Ghana to visit the eastern, the southern, northern, and even Europe, to visit some commercial farms, some agro-processing companies, and also, strengthen our export and import line of business in Africa. So it is just an experience. It is an exposure that we want to give to farmers, that it's about time you step out there.
Count on Crops Hub is partnering Adansi Travel and Rwand Air on this initiative. Here is Managing Director of Adansi Travel, Gideon Asare, outlining some packages available to farmers.
We have designed very beautiful packages, starting with Rwanda. So our first trip will be in November, on 14th November to 21st. We will take a group of Ghanaian farmers to Rwanda. So we are taking care of the arrangements, so to speak, and also making sure that the cost that will come out is not too heavy for the Ghanaian farmer.
Country manager of Rwand Air, Robert Okumu, lauded the initiative and stated that his outfit is glad to partner a project that seeks to improve agri.
I ask myself, why do we as African countries have to import dairy products from the West? Why do we have to import poultry? Yet we have the manpower, we have the resources in form of the land. So as Rwand Air, we are glad to support you, and in the spirit of Pan-Africanism and brotherly love, and work together to grow this.
All right, there's more business news coming up on the marketplace, but you can get up to date on our website, myjoyonline.com/business, including SEC Iyoko to unmask faceless individuals behind online Ponzi schemes. We'll have that story on the marketplace as well. Do stay tuned. There's more coming up after this break.
In the international news, Showbiz is up next.
And let's do some showbiz. So Camilo is saying, or no, it's George Britton, who is the manager for Camilo, who is a musician, is saying that he is not building Camilo for a hit or for him to be a hit artist. He's actually grooming him to be more than just a musician who is going to be releasing hits. He told us to Noella on Exclusives.
I am not building Camilo for a hit song. No, I know how to get a hit song in this town. Put Sobolo and Ginger and Message get hit song for this town. Right. But I am not building Camilo for a hit song. I am building a brand that will outlive a hit song.
But hit songs will help build that brand.
Not all the time. I can give you 1,001 hit songs that the brands are no more. Okay. So, I mean, yes, it's part of it. You need these things to create the awareness and create the visibility for the artists. But you need to have in mind that you are building a brand. Right. So, hit song is good, but you need to add other things that makes. Otherwise, if you focus so much on a hit song, the song will come after 90 days, it's gone.
Well, that was George Britton with Noella, my colleague Karen Yali, on Exclusive. But that was not the only thing he said about Camilo. He says Camilo, by far, of all the artists that he's ever managed, is the most ambitious artist.
His aspirations are high. Right. He wants to perform at big auditoriums in the world, the Europe, America, Africa, elsewhere. So, I think I needed such challenges, to become also a better person, and of course a better version of myself. So,
Did he make you a better person?
Yes, I think he does. Yeah, he does. He does in the sense that, I look at him and his hunger, and tells me he's good, and I think his style. I'll do him a lot of disservice if his style remains only here in Ghana. Right. It's got the qualities that can make himself. So, the plan is to get him out. We're not sleeping. We hear people calling, so your song is a big song. I'm like, yeah, it's cool.
And let's get into the studios of Joy 99.7. And Chief Moment is saying that government should actually issue some grants so that our heritage with entertainment can be documented.
Private needs motivation, but government's motivation should be about the preservation of our cultural heritage. Exactly. So government shouldn't be thinking about the bottom line.
And that is all for Showbiz. Now, the name is Ibrahim Benbako and IB Benbako on social media platforms. Kojo.
All right, Ivy, thank you very much for that one. And that's how we wrap up today's bulletin. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. Coming up next is Marketplace with Darrell Call. Have a great afternoon. Yeah. Okay.